assumptions. Now, how many of us have gone to a management or motivational kind of workshop where they take the word assume, A-S-S-U-M-E, and say that when you assume, you make an A-S-S out of you and M-E. Right? When you make an assumption, you can be so far wrong it isn't even funny. When you make an assumption, you start moving into it all being about you. Because I know this. It's oftentimes when individuals come and talk to me about their situation and they give a broad stroke to, well, I know they don't like me because. And it's like, do you really know that? Is that what they've told you? Or are you just assuming? Now, it may be based on some observations, but have you asked them, do you like me? Ooh, that's sort of a scary question, isn't it? It takes a lot of inner courage. It takes a lot of willingness to hear the answer. But I say, is it true or false, or you don't know? If it's absolutely true because they came up to your face and said, I don't like you, then you can say, yes, it's true. If you don't know, it has to be either a no, or, because they haven't said it to me, or I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just assuming. And let us not make assumptions, because it makes an ASS out of you and me. Now, what happens in a situation where somebody's asking you to give an assumption? And let's call it by its right word, judgment. One of the things we can do is just say, I don't know. Now remember how brave and courageous it would take for you to ask somebody, do you like me? Sometimes we're as frightened out of saying, I don't know. And why? Well, they'll think I'm stupid. They'll think I don't know what I'm talking about. We have the excuses for not saying that, but I find that oftentimes when people ask me a question, well, first of all, I say, is it easy? Because I really want an easy question because there's a better chance I might know the answer. You too? Anyway, so I say, is it easy? And no, I think so. And so off goes the question. And there are times I don't know. Yes, that's true. And so what I try to remember is to say, I don't know. But I'll look that up for you. Or I'll see where I can find it. Or who else might you ask? That goes for the questions I ask myself, too. Because, you know, I have noticed that not all of my questions are answered by Google.com. There are questions I have that they just don't cover. Try it for yourself. Anyway, so there are times where I'm like, well, Wayna, what are you going to do now? I don't know. And that's the moment for prayer. Because if you did know, Wayna, what would you say? It's a tricky way to ask yourself the question, or it's a tricky way for me to ask you the question. But when somebody, myself included, says, I don't know, I say, well, if you did know, then what? And that requires us to go deeper within ourselves, go deeper into that creative nature of God itself. Because somewhere in mind, it is known. And the practice we give it to access it, much like those computer skills, I didn't always find things on Google right away. Sometimes I had to search through 172,421 entries before I realized the answer wasn't there. If I went within, I would at least come up with an answer that might work for me. And practice making perfect means sometimes the first answer isn't always the total answer. But it might head me off in the right direction for me if I just keep at it.